My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra all over the world, the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High Elohim, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra.
The untold story of Nnamdi Kanu didn't begin with Radio Biafra or court battles. It began decades earlier, in the years of deep political and economic marginalization of the Igbo people that created tension across Nigeria, leading to the 1967 to 1970 Civil War. That war, one of Africa's most painful, was born from feelings of exclusion, injustice, and the struggle for equality. And even more than 50 years later, many in the Southeast still believe those same issues remain unresolved. Out of that same history rose a man whose voice refused to be silent, Nnamdi Kanu. To some, he's a freedom seeker. To others, a controversial figure. But to millions, he represents the call for fairness, justice, and the restoration of what was once known as the Biafra state. A dream born from history, loss, and unhealed wounds. Yet one question continues to echo across the nation. Why has Nnamdi Kanu remained in DSS custody through endless court delays, while individuals and groups responsible for violence, killings, and destruction in other regions are offered peace deals, forgiveness, and even traditional titles? And deeper still, why has none of the leaders of Boko Haram, ISWAP, or armed bandit groups been tried publicly in court, while one man demanding justice through speech and self-determination faces years of detention? More than half a century after the Civil War, this question challenges Nigeria's conscience. Is justice truly the same for all, or only for some? This is African Focus Reports, your trusted voice for in-depth African news and hidden stories. Stay tuned as we uncover the untold journey of Nnamdi Kanu, the historical pain behind Biafra's call, and the ongoing struggle between justice, unity, and truth in Nigeria. Roots of the struggle. To understand Nnamdi Kanu's movement, we must first understand what created it. After Nigeria gained independence in 1960, power began to concentrate in certain regions, leaving others, especially the Southeast, feeling excluded from national decisions. Economic projects, federal appointments, and resource allocation became subjects of tension. Many in the East believed that despite their contributions to Nigeria's growth, they were not given equal recognition or opportunity. The situation worsened after a series of violent events in the 1960s, where Igbo citizens in northern Nigeria suffered attacks and discrimination. This pushed Eastern leaders to demand safety, autonomy, and dignity for their people. When their voices were ignored, the Eastern region under Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu declared independence as the Republic of Biafra in 1967. A civil war followed, lasting 3 years and ending in 1970. The Nigerian government declared no victor, no vanquished, and promised reconciliation. But for many Igbos, true healing and inclusion never came. Those same feelings of exclusion, injustice, and underrepresentation in national life would later inspire new voices, one of which would be Nnamdi Kanu. The rise of Nnamdi Kanu. Born in 1967, the year the war began, Nnamdi Kanu grew up surrounded by the stories, struggles, and silence left behind by that conflict. In the early 2000s, he began speaking through Radio Biafra, a London-based station that reached millions of listeners across the world. His message was simple but bold. He spoke about the marginalization of southeastern Nigeria, the need for justice, and the right to self-determination. But beyond fairness or political reform, Kanu revived a deeper call: the restoration of the Biafra state, not through war, but through international dialogue and referendum. To his followers, he was a voice of truth and bravery, unafraid to speak about what many politicians avoided. To his critics, he was seen as divisive. But one thing was certain: He had reignited a conversation that Nigeria had tried to bury for decades. His movement, the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, gained huge support from millions of young people who felt economically excluded and politically voiceless. Kanu's message reminded them of identity, dignity, and the power of unity among the marginalized. Arrest, detention, and court delays. In 2015, Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Nigeria and charged with several offenses related to his activism. Protests erupted in many cities calling for his release. Though he was granted bail in 2017, a military operation near his residence forced him to flee. Then, in 2021, he was captured abroad in a controversial manner and brought back to Nigeria. Since then, Kanu has remained in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS. Court hearings have been postponed repeatedly, and legal rulings in his favor have not been fully implemented. These repeated delays have raised public concern. Why does one man's case face endless adjournments, while others accused of mass violence are rehabilitated or even honored? The contrast continues to raise tough national questions about fairness, equality, and selective justice. The double standard and the national question observers across Nigeria and abroad have noted how differently the government treats cases depending on region and identity. Armed bandit groups responsible for kidnappings and mass killings in the north have sometimes been granted amnesty. Some individuals linked to terrorist acts have reportedly been de-radicalized and reintegrated into society. Meanwhile, Nnamdi Kanu, who has consistently called for self-determination through peaceful means and international law, remains in custody without resolution. This contrast fuels public frustration and deepens ethnic mistrust. It raises an uncomfortable truth. Unity cannot be built on selective justice. Human rights experts argue that Nigeria must face this imbalance directly. A nation's strength is not measured by how it silences voices, but how it listens, even when it disagrees. If fairness is truly the foundation of unity, then justice must be applied equally from the Niger Delta to Maiduguri, from Sokoto to ABA. The call for restoration and identity. At the heart of Nnamdi Kanu's message is not just the demand for fairness or political reform. It is a deeper desire for identity, dignity, and restoration for the people of the old eastern region to reclaim their voice in a system that has often silenced them. He often describes Biafra not as a war movement, but as a spiritual and cultural rebirth, a reminder that a people's identity cannot be erased by time or politics. To him and his followers, the call for Biafra is the call for freedom within justice, for a fair and equal place in Nigeria, or a recognized right to determine their future peacefully. This vision continues to inspire debates across Nigeria and beyond about what kind of unity the nation truly wants, one built by force or one built by fairness and dialogue. Nnamdi Kanu's story is more than a political headline. It is the continuation of a historical wound that has not healed for over 50 years. Whether one agrees with him or not, his case reveals deep truths about Nigeria's unity, justice, and the value of every citizen's voice. His fight for justice, fairness, and the restoration of Biafra is ultimately a reflection of the fight for equality itself. Because a country that listens to all its regions, respects all its citizens, and values every culture equally is a nation truly united in purpose. Until then, the question remains, how long will justice wait? This is African Focus Reports, bringing Africa's most powerful stories to light. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video so more people can understand the history and truth behind our continent's unfolding stories.
This is African Focus Reports.
News the way you like it.